guys in this lineup who are experiencing their first playoffs and don't seem too overwhelmed by it. Maybe you got a hit in each game. I guess what has allowed you to seem really comfortable in your first playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's what we've been playing with 162 games for, is to get prepared for this moment. So I think we're just going out there playing baseball and enjoying the moment. If we can go out there and have fun and just play ball, then we're going to be just fine.
Go to Bradford, 2 rows behind.
Hi, Jonah. I got a kind of a two-parter here. First of all, can you kind of describe what the journey's been like with this starting rotation the last couple of years? Obviously, the front office has made a lot of investment in that group, and even this year, the group that you kind of had penciled in spring training, there were some ups and downs because of injuries, but then the front office kept adding to it. So what has that been like from your standpoint?
Yeah, it's been great. They've been solid all year. This offseason, CY made a lot of moves, bringing guys in. Obviously, you never want to see DeGrom go down, but Dane came in and did a great job stepping up in his place, and I feel like that's what we've seen all year. A guy goes down, it's the next guy up, and they do their job. So it's been special to be a part of, and hopefully they can keep it rocking.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was, now that Gray and Scherzer are back on the roster for this series, DeGrom's still down, but now you've got, I think there's 4 starters that had significant stretches and did a lot of work in the rotation during the season in the bullpen for this series. What are the advantages of having starting pitchers in that role in a series like this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have those guys back, and it just shows you our depth of our rotation. Even if they're coming out of the pen, I'm not sure what their role is going to be, but even if they come out of the pen, that just shows how much depth we got in our bullpen right now. And when you get a guy like Scherzer back, just having him on the roster is a big morale boost for sure.
Go to Jared, the 5th row in the right center.
Jonah, what does it say about Max that at this stage in his career he was physically capable and sort of mentally willing to put in the work to try to make it back in this situation?
Yeah, it just shows you the kind of guy and his character that he is, and truly a great teammate that he is. And it's obviously a lot of work to come back to get to where he's at now, and he wants to win. He's going to do everything in his power to win, and him coming back gives us a great opportunity to do that.
The 4th row, and then your left, Jonah.
Hey, Jonah. Did you watch Nathan Eovaldi in that 2018 World Series where he came in extra innings and pitched 6? And have you guys talked about that moment at all? Has he said anything about it to y'all?
Definitely watched it. We kind of joke about it all the time, just clubhouse banter, but it's impressive to watch then, and it's impressive to watch him what he's doing now. So he's a true competitor. He's going to give you everything he's got each and every night he goes out there, and he's always going to give us a chance to win.
Go to Hannah, the 4th row on your right, Jonah.
Hey, coming into the postseason, the bullpen was really maligned. People were like, that's the Rangers' sort of Achilles heel. They've made it work thus far. How much of that is execution at the right time versus sort of how you guys are planning, you, Bochy, Maddox, all of that sort of into how the bullpen will be deployed?
Yeah, I think it's no secret, I guess, that the bullpen didn't have a great year during the season, but they've really showed up in the postseason, and we wouldn't be where we're at without what they've done so far. So they've done a great job. Everybody's embraced their roles, no matter who it is, who's coming in. They're up for the task, and they're executing. I think that's the biggest thing. When we execute our pitches, our pitchers got the stuff to get anybody out. So it just comes down to execution, and teams always win.
Other questions for Jonah? I'll go back to Sean.
On the topic of the bullpen, Jose Leclerc, because that's such an up and down season, to see him where he is now, back pitching well in high leverage moments, what has that been like to kind of watch his journey this season to wind up where he is now?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I feel like he comes up with a new pitch each day. So he's got 4 or 5 plus pitches that we can go to in any situation, and his velo's been upwards to 100 miles an hour. So that makes my job easy when you can throw 100 and you've got a wipeout slider like he does. So it's been amazing to see. He's really picked it up lately, and it's been fun.
Hey, Bruce. How'd you sleep, and thoughts on being up 1-0 in this series?
Well, it's always good to get up 1-0. There's no getting around that. A lot of baseball, but good start with the pitching and the defense. A couple big hits there, so it's a best of 7, and we know that.
Go to the last row on the right.
Wondered if you could touch on the Grossman-Carter decision in terms of your lineup today.
Yeah. I'll start with Robbie's numbers against left-handed pitching there. They're really good, so we wanted another right-handed bat in there, and Robbie gives you quality at bats there. With Carter, he just has not had a lot of bats off of lefties. I think 15 here. He's a young kid. This is a tough left-hander, and I know he gets a lot of strikeouts. You can look at the splits, a little bit reverse, but Robbie has experience here playing left field. But Carter, he'll be involved at some point.
Other questions for Coach? I'll go to Bradford. Your left.
Bruce, when you look at the composition of your roster for this series, after adding Gray and Scherzer, I think you have 8 guys on the staff who started at least 8 games for you during the regular season. What, if any, are the advantages of having so many starters on a postseason roster?
Yeah, I think the biggest advantage is the multiple innings they can give you. It can save your bullpen when you have guys out there that can go 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 6 innings. Start with Martin Perez, Bradford, Dunning, Heaney. So you don't end up overusing somebody. Gives you coverage left and right with those long guys, along with our shorter guys. So that's, I think, the biggest advantage.
Go to Sean, second row on your left.
But you get a lot of guys in this lineup who are experiencing their first playoffs, not just the rookies, but guys like Leote and Jonah. What do you think has collectively allowed them to not look too overwhelmed by this stage they haven't been on?
Yeah, I mentioned a couple of things. Confidence. These guys have shown the confidence that you look for from a player and handling, performing under pressure. They have a calmness about them too. They don't get too up or too down. I think you followed our club. These guys are pretty low key, with the wins or the losses, and they have the ability to focus forward, tough at bats, whatever. So that works, and so that's what I think helps them.
Go to David on the end of the second row here, up front.
Hi, Bruce. Your bullpen has really been a work in progress for weeks or even months. But in the last few weeks, you've given the ball to Leclerc to close out games and all this postseason. The question is, at what point did he gain your confidence to close out these games, maybe in the last 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks?
Well, I'll start with when his stuff got back to where it normally is. Starting out, and I'll go back to spring training, he was dealing with a little neck issue, a nerve issue, I believe. But anyway, that kept him from being the pitcher that he is right now. He was hoping to go to play in the WBC for the Dominican, but we didn't feel like he was healthy enough, and then started season as our closer. Well, stuff was down a couple ticks. His command was off, and I'm sure that had something to do with it. This game's hard enough to play when you're 100%, but and he wasn't saying much about it. So anyway, you could see the stuff coming up. You could see the command getting better, and that's when we knew we had Jose Leclerc that we know.
More questions for Bruce? I'll go to Hannah.
Hey, Bruce. Can you just tell us a little bit about how the decision, or just to confirm, Max is starting Game 3? I saw those reports. Is Max starting Game 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's ready. That's why he's starting Game 3. A few days ago, he back home. He threw 69 pitches to hitters, and he came out of that fine. And during that time, he maintained his stamina and stuff, and so he was available yesterday. In fact, he said he wanted to pitch yesterday if needed, win extra innings or something. So anyway, just works out well that he can go Game 3. We're off tomorrow, gives him an extra day, so he's good to go. He's excited. Believe me, he's been wearing me out a little bit. He's just assuring us that, hey, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, can you just give us a little bit of a sense of how much he's been lobbying you to get this start or to get back on the roster?
Well, really started, not too long after the injury. And I'll go back to Baltimore. He threw there, and he threw very well. And I think his confidence grew with where he was at, with that lat injury there. And so he just felt that he was getting close. And so the last series, we even thought about, okay, we could activate him for that. But our concern was, well, if we have to take him off, now he wouldn't be ready for this series. So that's why we held him back a little bit, continued the bullpens, the live BP. But during that time, he was keeping us abreast of where he was at, how he felt. Nobody knows his body better than him. He's unbelievable at, just telling us where he's at and, how close he is and things like that.
Go to Kennedy, third row on your left.
I know he threw 65 pitches at home last week. About how many do you think he'll be able to go for Game 3?
Well, I think that number I mentioned, it would be a starting point. 68, 69 pitches, whatever it was. Yeah, so that's a good starting point. I don't think it would be less than that because he's gone that far, and he didn't hold back. He was being Max out there, and in fact, we were going to cut him a little short there. He said, "No, I want to go one more inning." That's how good he felt. So that's where I'd start with.